Hi Kipsters, it's Miss S with your second grade read aloud of the day. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. So today the skill that we're going to be practicing is comparing important points in a text on the same topic. So just like the last time we practiced this skill, we are going to be using two texts. So the texts that we'll be using are Henry's Freedom Box and Abraham Lincoln. Henry's Freedom Box is a text that we used a lot this week. Remember, it's a true story about a man named Henry Box Brown who was able to escape from slavery by mailing himself in a box. And then we have this text about Abraham Lincoln that we worked with yesterday. Remember, Abraham Lincoln was an important president that helped end slavery in our country. So as always, I'll be answering the first question, and then you guys will answer the following questions with me. So the first question is, what key point is made in both texts? What key point is made in both texts? Remember, key points are important points that the author makes. So right now we are looking for a key point that is made in both of our texts. So let's go ahead and follow our steps to do this. Step 1, what are both texts mostly about? So we know that Henry's Freedom Box is mostly about a man named Henry Box Brown. He became famous for being a slave as a young boy and then escaping from slavery to freedom by mailing himself in a wooden crate from the South to Philadelphia, which was a free city at the time. And then our text right here about Abraham Lincoln is mostly about Abraham Lincoln, how he grew up, how he became involved in politics, how he became president, and how he became an important figure in the Civil War during a time when we helped end slavery. Step 2, find the important points in each text. So looking at the important points in Abraham Lincoln, the few that came up to me would be that Abraham Lincoln overcame many challenges when he became a lawyer, a politician, and president of the United States. Abraham Lincoln was president during the Civil War, and he tried to keep our country together. And that important people from history like Abraham Lincoln fought injustice by trying to end slavery. Looking at the key points from Henry's Freedom Box, I came up with that Henry Box was an enslaved person who escaped from freedom by mailing himself to Philadelphia in a large box. Henry Brown showed courage by injuring his own hand and by hiding in the box to escape slavery. And then important people like in history, like Henry Box Brown, fought injustice to help end slavery. So if you guys notice, the only key point that was the same in both the texts is that they were important people from history that fought injustice to help end slavery. So looking at step 3, what are the important points in both texts? The important point that showed up to me in both texts is that each of these figures or important people were very important in helping to end slavery in our country because they helped fight injustice. All right, friends, now I'll need your help for our second question following our steps. So our second question is, which text makes the key point that some slaves were able to escape to freedom? Which text makes the key point that some slaves were able to escape from freedom? So the answer to this question could be only one of these texts makes this key point, or it could be both the texts make it, or neither of the texts make it. Since, friends, you guys don't have the text in front of you, I'll just have to skim them myself and see if both the key points come up. Let's go ahead and follow our steps. What are our texts mostly about? So for step 1, I want you guys to whisper it to yourself or whisper it to the person next to you. Quickly tell me what Abraham Lincoln is mostly about. Yes, friends, this text is mostly about Abraham Lincoln and his legacy and how he became an important figure in history in helping to end slavery and by opposing slavery when many white people didn't oppose slavery. And then as far as Henry's Freedom Box, what is this text mostly about? Whisper it to yourself or say to the person next to you. What is this text mostly about? Yes, friends, this is a famous text about Henry Box Brown. He became famous for being able to escape slavery by hiding in a box and mailing himself to Philadelphia. Step 2, find the important points in each text. So as I described earlier, some of the important points from Abraham Lincoln is that Abraham Lincoln overcame many challenges as President of the United States to help end slavery. He was president during the Civil War and helped keep our country together. And he was an important person from history that fought injustice to help end slavery. And then the key points in this text, I'll just say them as well since you guys don't have the text in front of you, that Henry Box Brown was an enslaved person who helped escape to freedom by mailing himself from Philadelphia in a large box. Henry Box Brown showed courage by injuring his own hand so that he can get out of work and then hiding in that box to escape. And that there was important people like Henry Box Brown who made a difference in history by helping fight injustice to help end slavery. So just like the first question, those were our same key points. So what are the important points in both texts? This is where I really need your help, friends. I want you guys to think. Remember, our question is, which text makes the key point that some slaves were able to escape to freedom? I want you guys to think. Does Henry's Freedom Box make the key point that some slaves were able to escape from freedom? I'll give you guys a few seconds to think about it. You guys can do thumbs up, thumbs down, or just think. Does this text make that key point just based on what we know about it? What the text is all about? Yes, friends, this text definitely makes that key point. That's what this text is all about, right? That some slaves were able to escape from freedom. Henry Box Brown was one of them. He was able to escape to freedom by mailing himself in that box. So this text definitely makes that key point. Great job, friends. As far as the text Abraham Lincoln goes, because you guys don't have this text in front of you, I'm just going to tell you what I looked for when I skimmed through the text. So while this text does mention slavery, it mentions the slave markets, what they looked like, and how Abraham Lincoln opposed slavery himself. It actually doesn't mention any slaves escaping from slavery. Only Henry's Freedom Box makes this key point. So to answer our original question, which text makes the key point that some slaves were able to escape to freedom? The only text that's able to do that, or that did do that, is Henry's Freedom Box. Abraham Lincoln, this text did not make that key point, even though it did talk about slavery. This was the only text that made the key point that some slaves were able to escape from slavery and become free. All right, friends, great job. Now it's your turn to log into Google Classroom. I will go ahead and ask the question for you here. Make sure you're logged in there and ready to answer the question. So taking a look at both texts, here's my question. What is similar about both texts? What is similar? What is similar about both texts? A, both texts show important people from history that fought injustice and helped to free slaves. B, both texts show how Abraham Lincoln helped end slavery in the United States. C, both texts show that slavery was not wrong. D, both texts describe what it is like for Henry Brown to escape from slavery. So think, what is similar about both texts? Not just one of them, both texts. All right, friends, looking forward to your responses, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. See you on Monday.